What up, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back with another video. I got a very special guest here today. As you guys know, I've had something in the works recently. I've been talking about it for the last week or two on my channel. I wanted to do something special, something a little bit different for my subscribers, and I think just for the culture, just for the integrity of gaming. I went out and contacted. I have. Go ahead and introduce yourself, by the way.
Hi, what's up? What's up? It's Mamacita925 on Twitter and Mamacita925 on Xbox, Mamacita42 on PSN and Nintendo.
Fantastic. See, so one thing out, I got a true female gamer. This is something I've been wanting to do and I've been cooking up for a while now, everybody. I've been kind of hinting at it in my podcast, and so I went out and I got a fantastic woman. She's been on Twitter for a while and I've seen her. She's a true gamer. You know, she owns every system, so there's no bias with her. She plays everything. She's a real true gamer. So I wanted to make sure I got a true gamer on the podcast today. And first of all, just say it's fantastic to have you on. I am honored to have you on, first of all. It means a lot to have you in here. So thank you for joining me today.
Well, let me say this. I'm the one who's honored to be asked to represent female gamers, our point of view, and for you to even invite me on your show is definitely an honor for me. As we were talking, and I do feel like as a woman in gaming, there's a perspective that I tend to not see. I am a gamer. I mean, I game Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. Honestly, Xbox was my first love because it was my doorway into hardcore gaming. And so when I entered the gaming space, and I'll kind of go back on my background a bit, but when I entered the gaming space, I saw, of course, I saw the console warring, and I've got an Xbox, PlayStation, the Nintendo, and I came in all giddy and happy. I'm a gamer. I want to play. I want to play Fable, and I want to play Halo, and I want to play Uncharted and Infamous and Mario. And I'm like, kumbaya. And I'm so excited. And then I begin to see that that's not quite how the gaming culture.
It's not necessarily so cut and dry. It's kind of a little bit of a shock to me, a little bit, when I first jumped on Twitter myself. So even as a male, I've experienced that too. A little bit of a shock there. Although I've always been an Xbox guy myself. I was a Sega guy back when I was little. We used to be on the playground, going back and forth between Sega and Nintendo, Mario versus Sonic. So it's always kind of been around, but it didn't get to the point to where it is now. Obviously due to social media is really big right now, and that's kind of pushing the whole console war. So before we move on, I actually want to go ahead and give a shout out. This is a big deal. I want to make sure I get this out there to one of my subscribers. His name was the Paladin on Twitter. That's his handle, and he did something really awesome for me the other day. I was unable to really busy this week, and I wasn't able to actually get my copy of Halo 5. So I just sent out a Twitter, hey, anybody got an extra code? And this guy went out of his way and got me a code. He asked me, hey, I have an extra one, you can go ahead and have it. So I thought that was super awesome. And so what I'm going to do now, and everybody be looking out for a giveaway. Once I get my hard copy next week, I'm going to be giving that away to somebody who doesn't have the game, because I feel like I was blessed. So I'm going to go ahead and bless somebody else with the game.
Oh, wow. So that's awesome.
Yeah, so everybody be looking. We're probably gonna run that giveaway for probably about a week or so, and then I'll just pick randomly, maybe one of my subscribers or however I decide on doing it, and you guys are gonna be able to win a copy of Halo 5 for yourself. So I just want to make sure I shout that out there. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. That was very awesome. So I wanted to make sure I did that before we continue. So now that that's done, one of the first things I wanted to ask you was, you kind of already got into it. But like, what was your first foray into gaming? Like, maybe you were younger, or kind of how did you get started for the love of video games?
Well, I have a very, very unique background when it comes to gaming. And some of you are going to say, oh my gosh, how old is she that she can remember Pong? So without having to give my age away, at least at this point, at some point I will. But when I was younger, my sisters and we played Pong. And I remember that. I remember the, everybody knows the white lines, and you just kind of hit the ball back and forth. And we were so excited. I mean, we used to go to my uncle's house, and we would all gather around and we would play that. And And then, of course, we moved on to the Super Nintendo. I played it in high school. But then the thing is, at that time, games did not grow up with you. And what I
Yeah.
mean is, when I entered my 20s and 30s, well, my 20s, I would say, there weren't games. There was no Tomb Raider for me. I
Yeah.
have that. So I had this huge hiatus, after Donkey Kong and Mario. I kind of
Yeah.
moved on away from gaming. I re-entered the gaming space, initially through the PC, because I was a Sims 1, 2, 3. Don't laugh. And
My
here's the
wife
thing.
loves Sims too. Ironically, she's the
I
same thing.
did. I would play The Sims all day. But here's the thing. I'm on my PC playing Sims 1, 2, and 3. But I would, I would have guests over, and then I would have my son, and he would be in his room playing, and I would pass the door, and I would say, how in the world could he sit there all day and play? He had a PlayStation. And I would say, how could he play those games like that all day, just on that controller, just play all day? That
Yeah.
makes no sense to me. And I am a reformed. I have a
Mhm.
reformed mentality when it comes to gaming.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I then one day I purchased an Xbox for the Connect. I purchased
Uh-huh.
a PlayStation for mobile for motion gaming. I
Uh-huh.
purchased a Wii for motion gaming. I was a motion gamer. I played all the Wii sports, all the Connect adventures, the sports champions on my
Hmm.
PS3. I had zero knowledge at that point of any type of more core, hardcore type gaming. One day on my 360, I was searching through the store and I saw a
Hmm.
game called Fable. I've always loved fantasy type movies. So I
Uh-huh.
just thought, well, let me just try this game. I tried Fable 2 and I was hooked. I was hooked. I was hooked, completely hooked. I went from Fable 2 to Fable 3. Then I played Fable 1. I went to Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2 to Skyrim,
Dang.
Darksiders, God of War, Infamous, Uncharted, Halo, Gears Up. I started playing a little Halo, but at the time I couldn't play it because my
Yeah.
skills just wasn't kind of quite where they are now. And this was about 5 years ago.
Oh wow.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, just about 5 years ago. So I started playing, and then I noticed the reaction that I started to receive from people when I would say, I just played Fable last night, or I just played God of War, or I just played Halo last
Yeah.
night, and people would look at me and say, "You what?"
You mean like your peers, like at work, your peers, or
My family,
oh, your family? Wow.
my
Okay.
coworkers and friends, and everybody around me, they would say, "Oh, really?" They would give me this look, like really. Uh, and I will walk into GameStop, and I would purchase a game, and I'm in line, and the GameStop rep would say to me, "Ma'am, you do realize that this game is rated M, right?" And I said, "Yeah, I do. I'm buying it for myself. Thank you very much." So it was.
Wow.
Yes, yes. And when I attended PlayStation Experience last year,
Uh-huh.
I'm standing in line, and I've never standing in line to play until dawn, actually. And the young lady, as I was standing, she looked at me and she said, "Are you going to play?" And I said, "Yeah, I've been standing in this line for the past hour. Yes, I'm going to play." So these are the types of experiences that I've had
Yeah.
as a female gamer. They look at me and say, you don't game. Even in GameStop, when the Xbox One, the premiere, I went to my local GameStop, standing in line, and I was all excited, and
Yeah.
in the line there was like 25 other gentlemen. And they're looking at me like, look at this lady. This lady is excited. And she's got her green shirt on, and she's going, "Yay, Xbox One, go Xbox One." But it was I say this, I as a woman in gaming, I just think that's a part of gaming that I just don't feel like it's touched on enough. There's so many things that women,
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that come towards me, even women,
Yeah.
the fact that we look at each other, the women, we look at our men, we look at our husbands, we look at our
Yeah.
boyfriends, our significant others, and we think, oh, why is he why is he gaming? You know, he's not
Yeah.
spending time with me. We just don't, a lot of us don't understand.
You know what? You probably just gained about 50 men subscribers by saying that, because I,
Yeah,
I I have a lot of friends, honestly, and
yes.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I have a lot of friends that that are married, that
Mhm.
are in relationships, or whatever the case may be. I'm very lucky. I have a wife that she's playing Minecraft right now as we speak. So I have a
Uh-huh.
wife that plays video games. She's active. Me and her play together
Yes,
from time to
yes,
time. My kids are involved. She's involved. She has her own
yes.
Xbox. I have my own Xbox. So we're kind of a gaming family. A lot of
Mhm.
that doesn't happen. I kind of want to bring up this point too. Kind of want to ask you a question from a woman's perspective also too.
Okay.
Since you kind of gone over, kind of how you got your start in gaming, and why you fell in love with gaming, where you started at. Um, what do you think about, like, where do you think about the current state of gaming, as far as are there any particular women in gaming that you maybe I don't want to say look up to, but that you look at and you're like, wow, she's really doing something awesome? Because there's a lot of women in this industry that you got Bonnie Ross, head of 343.
Mhm.
You got what is her name, Shannon Loftus. She's actually I believe first and third party marketing at Xbox.
Yeah.
She's the head of that.
Okay.
So there's a lot of prevalent women in prominent positions in the gaming industry that
Yeah.
don't really get their, I don't want to say just do. Maybe they do in their own professional way, but a lot of
Yeah.
times people don't know who they are. If you were to stand here and put them in front of a group of people, they'd be like, okay, who is this person? Like, what does she do? So if it was Phil Spencer or Yoshida, we all know who they are. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
so is there
Yeah.
anybody in particular that you see that, or any other, female gamers that you see that maybe like, oh wow, she's doing something pretty neat here?
Well, here's the thing. You made an excellent point that a lot of the women in gaming that have particular positions, you see their faces, but you don't know who they are. And I'm guilty of that, because right now, and even as you're asking me that question, and I'm thinking about this lady that she's, I believe she represents, is it Ubisoft? That's who came to mind, and I just can't. Her name is
Hmm.
just not coming across right now,
Uh-huh.
and I'll probably get it before we end this in the podcast. But I don't tend to see a lot of uh, women being represented
Yeah.
in our gaming community. And when I say gaming community, I don't necessarily mean as gamers, but let's say those in positions in corporate positions, or that
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
represents developers, or the software companies, or the
Yeah.
actual like, so I don't see a lot of that. And I understand, though, a lot of that is because of the culture that a lot of women, the approach that we have. And
Yeah.
and I say this prime example. I was on a business trip in Florida a couple of years ago, and one of my business partners, said to me, she said, we were just talking. Her husband was in the room on his Xbox playing, and she says to me, she's like, or she didn't say Mamacita, she called me Maria. That's my actual name. But she goes, Maria, look at him. All he wants to do is play on his Xbox. He doesn't want to spend time for me. And I could come to him, and this was actually her words. I could come to him, completely, in the
Yeah.
best, and
Yeah.
he just pushes me to the side. And my first thought when I first heard that, I'm thinking, what is wrong with this guy? What guy does that? Who in their right mind would do that? This is a very
Yeah.
attractive woman. I mean,
Yeah.
why would he do that? But, now as a true gamer now, I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe he was in a multiplayer match, and he just, you know, thinking
That
now,
is hilarious.
wait a minute, girlfriend. Now hold on. You could have just waited till he completed this match. Because
That is
I know that
awesome.
if I'm in the middle of, and you can't just stop. You can't just pause when you're playing
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
You can't just stop. And regardless, and I know some guys are thinking, saying, no, I'm sorry, Mama Cedar, but I'm getting offline.
Yeah.
But I say that is that I think sometimes women are, the way we see gaming and our approach to it, it may, a lot of us just maybe aren't interested in
Yeah.
in venturing, or we just don't, the face of women, you just don't see that correlation with gaming. And
Yeah.
I
And
really would like I mean, not me personally, I know I can't change that myself, but I really would like
yeah.
to see more a voice from women, especially maturer women too. And
Yes, definitely, definitely.
that's
Definitely.
me.
That's another thing too. That's another thing that and this everybody, like I said before, this is a true gamer we got. This woman plays video games. She owns every console. She really does this video game stuff, and she's really into the culture. And she kind of hit the nail on the head. And that's something that I also, excuse me, wanted to bring up also was that there is this. I guess I can say originally, like I said, I got lucky with myself personally because my wife's always played video games since I met her. Our first date, to come over her house, to pick her up. She was on the PlayStation playing Tekken. So I got, I got,
Okay.
I got
Okay.
really lucky. So I kind of knew. I was like, hey, I think I got a winner here when I picked her up. Like, that's a good sign. Like maybe I should, maybe I should run with this. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no, honestly, I think there's just a general perception, and even not just women, just in general, people that don't understand the culture. They don't. There's a perception that this is for video gaming. It's for nerds, I guess you can say, lazy people that don't really want to, people that want to get lost in a different world and they don't want to deal with reality. I've heard that before. I've seen people make comments and things like that. So I think it's just an overall general perception of
It,
gamers that's changing with the
yeah,
advent of social media and the fact that gaming has become a really cool thing to do now. So it's more
it is.
acceptable in
Yes.
today's day and age. So you're
Yeah.
absolutely right, though. You do see a lot of women kind of have this real negative without they've never tried it, they've never sat down, taken the time to even look, but they kind of look at it in a slanted way. So I'm glad you brought
Exactly.
that up. Glad you brought
Exactly. And I've had plenty of conversations. Plenty of conversations. There was a time though when I would like when my female friends would come over. I would hurry and put my Xbox away.
Oh
And
wow.
yes, seriously, because I thought it was, at the time, this was, I was just starting off and I thought there was a sense of, they're going to think I'm wasting my time or because of that perception that gaming it's for kids or,
Yeah.
games are for nerds or games are for people that don't have social lives. They don't go outside. They live in their mom's basements. So how dare you, how dare you, how dare you become a gamer? So there was a sense of shame for me. And I'm just being honest. I have to share my honest opinion. There was a
Yeah.
sense of shame initially for me. And I would hide my controller or it
Oh
was, well, what are
wow.
you doing? Oh, I was watching a movie and I'm actually gaming. Well, you know what? I think one day I just woke up and I said, I love gaming. I love
Yeah.
to game. It's my hobby. I enjoy it. It's my pastime. My critical thinking skills have increased to no end since I have been playing like Laura Croft, Tomb Raider, and all, putting these puzzles together. I mean, it's actually helped me in so many different ways. And I'm like, I'm not ashamed of this. I mean, I usually
Yeah.
spend 6 and 7 hours in my garden planting
Yeah.
flowers. So what's the difference with me sitting on my couch? Games. It's the
Yeah.
same difference. And I tell my female friends on Facebook all the time when they send me those silly Candy Crush invites, you're playing Candy Crush, but then you're making these snarky comments about video gaming where you're gaming, you're just gaming on Facebook or on your phone.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you're still
That's
gaming.
more acceptable, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
So
It's
all
more
right, all right. Yeah. So let me ask you a question now. So I mean,
okay.
I'm pretty sure you got a lot of games you're looking forward to this coming up on all the platforms. I'm pretty sure. So what are some of give me your top three games, any platform that doesn't have to be any specific platform. Top three games coming up for I guess you could say the next year that you wanna purchase here.
Oh gosh, my top three. I think number one for me will have to be Quantum Break.
Oh, good choice.
Oh,
Good
most
choice.
definitely Quantum Break. And well, I mean, outside of Tomb Raider that's coming up, I'm
Yeah.
waiting for Tomb Raider.
Okay.
That's a given. Tomb
Yeah.
Raider, November the 11th. I'm sorry, Fallout 4. I'm gonna play it at some point, but Tomb Raider comes first.
Uh-oh, you lucky Anchorman wasn't here. He'd have it out for you. He loves
Oh,
that Fallout 4, but
yes.
yeah, yeah,
And
definitely.
I'll delve into that at some point, but I've got to play Tomb Raider first. I've got to play Rise of Tomb Raider. Of course, I just started Halo 5, so I'm in the midst of that, and I'm
Yeah.
quite enjoying the story. By the way,
Nice, nice.
actually, I am. But Tomb Raider, Quantum Break. Uh, hmm. let's see, and probably I would probably say for me, Battleborn.
Wow,
For
that's
me,
interesting.
yes,
Interesting.
yes, yes.
Very interesting.
Yes, I'm a huge Borderlands 2. I love Borderlands 2 to no end. So
Yeah.
Battleborn is huge for
That's
me.
Gearbox, right? Aren't they
Yes,
making?
that's
Yeah.
Gearbox.
Gearbox. Yeah.
Yes, yes, and
Yes.
2K. They, I mean, they
Yes.
are
2K and
just
Gearbox.
awesome,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Definitely. I hope. I mean, I'm hoping they make a next gen battle, but a next gen Borderlands at some point. I know they somebody asked them. I saw a tweet a few months ago, and I think I follow Gearbox on Twitter
Yeah,
about that. I think they didn't really discuss anything. It was very vague, but I think they're going to start working on a new Borderlands here pretty soon. It's only right, that we get a Borderlands 3 for this generation. It'd
yeah,
be a travesty if we didn't, but I think they're going to be. I think they have something in the works. They're doing Battleborn right now, which is
yeah,
taking up all their time. But I think they're going to get to Borderlands. It's going to be huge, so they're going to need a lot of time to do that. But yeah,
yeah.
I'm very excited. That's a good list. Battleborn that's a surprise. Most people wouldn't think that. So that's a surprise. Actually, that's a really. I've been hearing good things about that game too.
That's only because I'm such a, I was a Borderlands 2 maniac. I totally am. And I do remember there was some talk from Gearbox. They made a comment about not sure if they could really do Borderlands any justice by having a Borderlands 3, because it
Yeah.
was, just trying to fill those shoes. But
Yeah.
if my memory serves me correct, I remember seeing something a little later, them actually saying yes, that they were actually working on a Borderlands 3, but they didn't have anything, to announce at that particular
Yeah.
time. That's
Okay.
my understanding, because I've been following them pretty
Pretty
good.
heavy.
Yeah.
Trying to
Oh
get any
yes.
little bit of news
Oh
coming out.
yes. Oh yes.
All
But
right.
but you that's my top three, but that's kind of hard because I have so many more. I mean, Crackdown. Oh my
Oh,
gosh! And of course, I'm excited for the Uncharted
Uncharted.
4. I am.
Did you
I
hear
am.
about that? You hear about the news about the
I,
multiplayer and not that it's a big deal because it's not. And I'm going to do a video about this too. So this is kind of a pre question about that. So what do you think about that news about Uncharted and I don't know. I mean,
I think it's hilarious because if you're going to tout that, we're, 1080 and 60 frames per second, and you're going to have developers and they're going to tout that, you have to follow through, and you can't
yeah,
have one of your major first party games coming out 900p multiplayer, and then even the 1080p at 30 frames per sec, 30 frames. I just don't think you can do that and then keep your credibility. And this isn't a fanboy statement.
yeah,
This is actually, I'm looking at, regardless if it was Microsoft, and as
yeah,
we continue to talk, I mean, people will find I will critique. I don't care who you are. You
yeah,
just can't say, we're the 1080p 60 frames per second box, and then your first party, big game is coming out and it's not running 60 frames per second. Multiplayer isn't running 1080p. You
yeah.
can't do that. And I did not to say that that's going to make or break me.
No,
I'm gonna
it's
buy the
not.
game. I don't
Yeah,
care
yeah,
if it's
definitely, definitely.
720.
Yeah,
But I'm
definitely,
saying
definitely.
that you lose a little credibility, and I just think you just got to stop. Got to stop the resolution
The whole
giving.
resolution thing. Yeah, I
Oh
think yeah, that thing was just that's kind of
yeah,
a we've gone over that many times. I've made a couple videos about it, and it's been beaten to death this generation. I mean,
yeah,
if you hang your hat on that, like you said, you gotta kind of if that's your agenda, you gotta stand by it. So when it's working well and when it's not working well. So you do have to be
exactly.
critical of Sony about that. No dedicated servers also, which I don't think that's a big deal because Uncharted's more known for their single player than their multiplayer anyway. So I don't
Yeah,
think that affects them as much as it would a game like Halo or something like that.
yeah,
But it's
yeah.
still something that people were looking forward to. And like you said, as a company, you're touting that you've been pushing it all generation, and then you fall a little short. And you got to kind of call them
You
out on
you
that.
really do. You have to put up or shut up.
Yeah,
That's one thing. You have to put up or shut up. And I mean that's the bottom line. You just can't, you can't say, this is the box that's gonna have have the 1080p 60 frames per second and your big exclusive. And my thing is, it's because it's Uncharted. That's a big first party exclusive. That should have had all the bells and whistles. You just
Yeah,
sort of put everything into that game.
yeah, definitely.
Everything.
Definitely,
Everything.
definitely.
So
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. So I do have another question also too.
okay.
Kind of yeah, it's just what are some of the things like as we're going through this generation, as we're moving forward here, I don't know if this generation
Mhm.
is going to be as long as the previous one. The 360 and the PS3 are still kicking at this point, 10, 11 years down the line. So very
Mhm.
successful systems. So as this generation moves along, what are some of the things you're excited about? Maybe it's a feature, maybe it's something from Nintendo, maybe it doesn't have to necessarily be a game, could be a feature, something that's adding to gaming, something that's
Okay.
positive. Anything you're exciting for coming up, maybe down the line that we're going to see that's going to be maybe see some changes in gaming, or have a big splash, VR, AR, cloud
Yeah.
gaming, anything like that.
It's really funny that you asked me that because I've been thinking it would be, and I know they played around with it. I think with was it NBA Live or where you can actually scan yourself
Oh
and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
your body scan yourself. But I really would love, let's say if I'm playing Tomb Raider
yeah.
and I have some type of customization where I could scan, myself, my face, my physique into and play as myself and see myself, my face as Laura Croft. I mean, that would be like super cool.
That would be dope.
That would
That
be
would
that
be,
would be just so cool. I would
yeah,
love to be able to do that. But I've been looking at the VR thing, and I actually played with is it the Project Morpheus when I was
yes,
at PlayStation Experience, and
yeah.
so I was able to there was a some type of flying. I was flying in this aircraft and I was shooting, things. But, as soon as he took the headset off of me, I was just super woozy and I
Oh
had to
wow.
it was crazy, but the experience itself was awesome. I will say
Yeah,
that. It was just the
yeah,
after effects were just awful. I don't know how I feel about the whole VR thing just yet because of that experience. I mean, it's
yeah,
great when you're in the process,
yeah,
but when you finish, I don't want to be sick to my stomach and I don't want to have headaches and I don't want to be woozy. So
yeah,
that's my only thing about the VR thing. And I know Microsoft has the Halo. I mean, I'm sorry, the HoloLens.
yeah,
And it really looks good. That looks interesting. I'm not sure how that's going to play out on a just a everyday being kind of thing as a gamer. I'm not sure, so I don't have a lot of answers for that yet. But there isn't really anything I can point to say that I'm really looking forward to at this point. I think because so much I've received so much in gaming in such a
yeah.
short time. So for me, all of this stuff is still new for me. I mean, couch co-play, co-play. I know that's
Yeah,
fate.
co-op.
Co-op is kind of fading out. But because I just
Yeah,
kind of got back into gaming, that was just so exciting for me. And I mean, now that's kind of gone. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just
yeah.
kind of getting the
You
hang of
know,
that.
yeah, with the advent of the internet, everybody, that's kind of going out the window. Developers are
Yeah,
moving away from that a little bit,
yeah,
with
yeah.
Xbox Live, PSN being
Mhm,
so big and everybody
mhm.
being interconnected through the internet.
Yeah,
That's kind of why waste resources on trying to add that as a feature into a game when
mhm.
most people are just going to go straight to the multiplayer anyway and find a
Right.
random person to play with, or,
Yeah,
party up with friends
yeah,
and things like that. So I
yeah.
understand that.
I
But
get that. I do.
yeah.
I
So I
do.
mean, there are some games that that probably are still going to implement it. You may not see as many as there were previously, but there are going to definitely be some games that still have that feature in there too. I think there's some games that need to have that feature.
Yeah.
Just for nostalgia purpose, just in case that you want to still play with your wife, play with your son, daughter, whatever the case may be, friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll be neat. So we'll see something there. I'm hoping they'll add that into more games at some point, but you never know.
Yeah.
So I had another question that I wanted to ask
Okay.
you. This will probably be maybe our last question here. I don't want to take up too
Okay.
much of your time. I know
Okay.
you have other things you have to do. Um,
Oh, Halo
so
5.
we definitely. So that's kind of a great segue. I'm glad you said that. I know Halo 5 is the biggest game to come out so far. In my opinion, this year.
Yes,
It's the
it
biggest
is.
game to come out so
It
far in
is.
2015 by far. You said I don't know spoilers or anything because I haven't played mine yet. I get mine tomorrow.
Okay.
But what has been your experience? I know as far as what I've been hearing, just reviews and things like that. It's kind of been a mixed bag. A lot of positive, a lot of like overwhelmingly positive, but some people are kind of mixed right now. What has been your experience with Halo 5? How are you enjoying it? How do you feel playing it?
Well, here's my take on reviews. First of all, the only review that matters to me, it's my own. And if I see a
Yes.
game and I'm interested in a game and I want a game, I'm going to buy the game because I have interest in it. I'm not going to buy a game or purchase a game and play a game because somebody else. I don't care if it's a game journalist, if
Yeah.
it's a family friend, someone tells
Definitely.
me not to play a game. I'm
Play
not
it
going
for
to play it
yourself
based on that. Or
to
I'm going
find
to
out if
play
you
it
like it.
for myself because so many times, and I tell you, so many times I've thought this game wasn't going to be good. Was it going to, I'm not going to like this. And I really dive into it and I continue to play and I end up loving it. I will
Yeah.
say this, Halo 5 is the first game in the Halo series that I've gone into with the attitude, I'm going to play this game, I'm going to learn it. I'm going to do all I can to, progress in this story and pick it up and complete this game. I haven't completed any other Halo game in the series. I played around with Halo 4, a little bit of
Uh-huh.
Halo Reach a few years ago, but that was kind of in my earlier gaming days.
Yeah.
Halo, the Master Chief Collection, I had so much, so many other games I was playing at the time, Sunset Overdrive and other games that kind of took my attention away from that. So I really didn't really get into that. But Halo 5, and I'm not, I will say, I am absolutely enjoying my experience with Halo 5.
Great. Great.
Absolutely. It is so fluid. It is so, I mean, it's just like it's clean, it's smooth. I mean, I just lining up, and I'm not one, shooters and are
Yeah.
just haven't always, this is what I would say multiplayer, or I would say PvP. I haven't always been, my best. I mean, I'm getting better. I've gotten so much better with that. I can kill now, and I can kill now, in multiplayer. But
Yeah.
I enjoy it, and I mean, I hear these things about the story. I'm thinking to myself, okay, perhaps maybe I guess maybe they could have given you a little more cinematic background to who maybe Locke was and why. I mean, I guess if you want to critique something, say they could have
Yeah.
done that, but that didn't keep stop me from being able to understand who he is and what his purpose in this game
Yeah.
is what I'm saying.
Definitely.
I
Definitely.
still got that without even knowing the background of Halo myself and reading the books and the lore and all that. I still got that. So, I think some people just nitpick about little things, just
Yeah.
find something to nitpick about, and it's not even worth it. Enjoy the game. Halo 5, play it. I'm only on mission 7 or 8, so I'm still early on.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
it's
Definitely.
awesome.
I
It's
can't wait. I can't wait. Like I said before, I'm getting mine tomorrow. I'm gonna go ahead and download it, and I'm gonna be playing quite a bit this weekend. I'm probably gonna get on with you if you don't mind.
Oh,
As you
I
get the
don't
Xbox,
mind at all. I
definitely.
don't mind
Yeah, we'll
at
jump on.
all.
Yeah, we'll jump on and
Yes.
play. It'll be fantastic. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you're enjoying the game. It's a fantastic game, like I said before, and I just want to end the podcast by saying, first of all, thank you once again, Maria, for coming on. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Like I said, it means a lot to subs, and just to hear from a female gamer's perspective of how gaming is from your perspective, and it's
Mhm.
just something that I felt like needed to be said and talked about in video games in general. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you took your time out of your day to come on and just kind
Oh,
of chop it
most
up with me and
definitely.
some of our viewers here. So it was fantastic. It was super fun. This is her very first podcast. And go ahead, matter of fact, before we get off, I want you to let everybody know what you got planned for your channel and what you got planned coming up for the future, so that everybody knows.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm still about maybe a month and a half away, out from officially announcing, but I am planning an all-female YouTube gaming channel, and as I said before, I feel there's so much that female gamers and women we bring to gaming that's just we do that, as I said, we do that to ourselves a lot. So I just want, I'm looking for, I want a different perspective, a different view, and just kind of address some of those things that even my, my male friends that I hear, family friends, they say, how they're perceived in gaming, how they feel like women, their girlfriends, their wives look at them in gaming. And I just want to, from a woman's point of view, just to kind of address those things and say that, it's okay to be a gamer, and it's okay to say, and I'm a female gamer. And before we go though, I have to tell this story right quick. I have
Sure,
to.
sure, no problem.
Just so to bring some perspective. I have an apartment that I'm renting, and I had there were an issue with my sliding door, and I had to call the maintenance man in to fix my sliding door. It was
Yeah.
broken. And he came in, it was in there about 5 minutes, and he fixed it and he left. The very next day, I received a notice on my door, and the notice said, uh, you know, um, please be aware that uh, unoccupied or occupying residents that are not on your lease is a violation of your lease agreement. So I go to my neighbors and I'm like, did you all receive this letter? And they're like, no, they didn't get this letter. They didn't receive it. And they're having an idea what I'm talking about. It appeared that I'm the only one in that section that received it. I go to the rental office. I ask for the manager, and she says, I said, why did I get this letter about, my lease grounds for, termination, for having someone in this
Yeah.
apartment? She says to me, she says, well, come in, Maria. She says, the maintenance man saw your Xbox and your PlayStation.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I'm standing there. Say what?
Wow.
Your Xbox and your PlayStation. So he figured I had a man living with me because
Wow. That is
my
crazy.
PlayStation. I pulled out my Xbox app, my PlayStation app. I said, that's mine. How dare you? How dare you put a notice on my door telling me I'm violating my lease because he saw my Xbox and my PlayStation and
That's
assumed I
crazy.
had someone. That's crazy.
So he
So
so he pretty much profiled you
yes,
just from seeing that without even knowing you. Wow, that's crazy.
yes. So
That's
that's why the Classy Gamer Gals, all females, I just want people to understand that yes, women do game. Yes, a mature women, we do game. And yes, we're okay with our men gaming too.
You got me on your side with that one. So that looks like it's gonna wrap up our podcast here tonight, everybody. Once again, I want to thank Classy Gamer Gals, Mama Sita, for coming on. I really appreciate it. Once again, you're welcome anytime you want to come on just to talk. We do podcasts, the
Yes.
Shop podcast every Friday. Anytime
Okay.
you can just message me. I'll message you.
I love
Anytime
to.
you want to come on, you're always welcome. No
Yes.
problem. You're like part of the family now. So I
Awesome.
want to, like I said, once again, thank you for coming on. Everybody that was out listening today, we had some viewers in here, a bunch of viewers in here actually watching right now. So thank you, everybody, for showing love, showing support. You guys go and subscribe to her. What is your Twitter handle again, one more time, so that everybody knows?
Mamacita 925.
All right, so Mamacita925, follow her. She has some great things going on YouTube. She's a true gamer. I left out female on purpose. She's a true gamer.
That's
So go ahead
right.
and follow her. She has a lot of great things coming to her channel. And you guys will rate, comment, and subscribe my videos. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode of the Shop Podcast. You guys always know, same time Friday. And we're out of here, folks. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for joining us and tuning in. You guys all have a great evening. We're out of here.